Okay, no BS Zen reflection of the day. Today's topic: fundamental baseline truths in Zen that you need to know. Maybe not truths, but they're things that are important that are made really hard to understand because there's a lot of lofty language and stuff in Zen that makes it pretty hard. Number one thing is everything around you is arising and ceasing. And this is huge. So I know this is a concept that's pretty easy to grasp. We know things are passing, we know things don't last forever, but it's important to look at everything around you. So, right now, as you're sitting or laying down or anything that you're doing, really look at everything around you arising and ceasing. All your senses: sight, hearing, smell, taste, touch, into your mind as well, your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, perceptions. Every single thing around you feels like it's this one big, um, movement, but it's really just all these little small things dependent on other conditions moving in this one present moment. Because that's all that exists, this one present moment. So feel the bed on your back as you're laying there, or the seat on your bottom as you're sitting, and see how when you visually, maybe a light, a car's passing by, it's flashing, you hear somebody talking in the other room. All of these things are constantly in flux. Now, in day to day, this doesn't seem that crazy, but it matters because the next step, number two, is what do we do with these things in flux? We attach to them, say, I want this, I don't want that, but I really want this. So what happens when we have that we don't want? We're mad, we're upset. I don't want this, I want that. So now when we get what we want to hold on to it. This is a constant back and forth. It's like getting kicked back and forth, back and forth. Now there's also what's in between, neutral. That's a lot of stuff is pretty neutral, right? The feeling of your foot walking on the ground, that's pretty neutral. But if you're wearing socks and you step in water, it's not so neutral anymore. It's pretty annoying. Or maybe you like wet socks and it doesn't bother you. There's these little intricacies, every single thing in life, that we want what we want and we don't what we don't. So why is this a big issue? When things are in flux, they're inevitably going to change. So if we want something, that's inevitably might not happen, or it does happen, and then we lose it. So even if we get it, we're afraid of losing it. And if we don't get it, we're distraught. If we don't want a certain situation to happen, and it happens, we're distraught. It's this preference. See, it's the channel name, Beyond Preference. That's what we're here about, beyond preference. No preferences, no opinions. Doesn't mean you can't have an opinion, but don't cling to certain preferences and opinions. So that's what we do. Every single day, we're constantly chasing after different conditions. Now, we have to mitigate that. We have to see that movement, and we have to slowly go, wait a minute, okay, what's causing me the suffering? The suffering is my own choices of wanting these things. So, say a want arises, say a desire arises. You just watch it. You feel it. It's going to suck probably because you're really desireful and you want that thing. But you feel the feeling. You see the thoughts. You think the thoughts. So you see this movement. So say I want a new red Corvette, right? So you see it driving down the road. You see the red car. Then you think, ooh, Corvette. And then maybe you think, oh man, that girl I used to like growing up really loved Corvettes. And if I had that, we'd still be together. Now you're crafting this huge story. And you go, I really want this Corvette. So initially you just saw the car, the perception of the car, you know what the car was, you remembered a memory, and now you go, I want that, I don't have it, and now I'm mad. And now you want that. It's like this little quick thing. So what do? You go, I'm going to work more hours, I'm going to get that car. But you're not going to be happy until you get that car. And then maybe one day you save up all that money and you get that car, and then you realize, man, I kind of wish I got a Prius instead. I want to be a little bit more, eco-friendly. But now you're going to be mad I got a Corvette. I mean, you can sell it. Prius are pretty cheap. You can sell it. But this is the thing. It's a constant, never-ending thing. You got to see this movement in our daily thoughts. So let's rewind here. So everything arises and ceases, and we attach to them. We attach to things that are never really going to change. It's not great. So another layer onto this is the things that really hurt the most are the things that we identify the most with. So if I see myself, this is kind of a dramatic one, but if somebody else, say somebody's house burns down, That's pretty tragic. You see it on the news, you go, man, that sucks. If it happened to your buddy, you're like, damn, that really sucks. Like, you feel sad, you feel distraughtful. Distraughtful, is that a word? You feel very hurt inside, right? And then if it happens to you, that's really traumatic. That's like end of the world sort of stuff. You lose all your things. And this is what it comes down to. It's like, what do you identify with as yourself? You have all your objects. It's your house. You worked hard for it. Where are you going to rest your head at night now? Now there's pain. Now there's suffering. And because you are identifying with, this was my house. But before, if you saw it on TV, it's like, that was somebody else's house. It doesn't affect me. Now, obviously, if you're going to have to live on the side of the street, or you have to do all the work to get a new house and replenish your things, that's going to be stress. That's going to be a lot of work. But if you see each individual feeling within it, there's just house burn, loss of things. No one was hurt, hopefully, but you'll see the actual event happening isn't to you. And I almost feel like, is that too much dramatic that might be too dramatic of an example, isn't it? I mean, I kind of went to the final boss here, something pretty dramatic. It's just even like, what can we use? I'm not going to cut. I don't like cutting. Say you got lunch and you're hungry all day and somebody knocked into you and knocked your food on the ground and went everywhere. Realistically, you just had your food spill, and there's going to be probably an annoyance and a pissed off feeling, but that's what it is. So there's dropped food and there's a pissed off feeling. And if you catch that, you might be able to catch it before lashing out at the person that knocked into you. But if you don't and you lash out at them, now they might get angry back. They may say something about, your cousin. Your cousin's, just as bad as you are. You're terrible. Now you're like, my cousin? You're talking about my cousin? Yeah, right. And now you're just throwing fists. It's a huge scene. Food's going everywhere. Why? When we could have just caught it at food falling, and that was that. Food falling, and maybe you're like, wow, that was my food for a second. But you catch it. Catch that identification before it moves on to the next thing. So, those are 3 things total, right? And let's just go into thoughts as a whole here, because thoughts are very sticky. Thoughts, emotions, anything in the mental sense sphere is pretty tough. So when a thought arises, oftentimes we think that we're the ones that are pulling it out of a mental filing cabinet, like, oh, I want to think about X, Y, and Z. I want to pull this out. I'm going to think about this. Our thoughts really don't work like that. It might seem like it does. But when you're sitting in meditation for a while, you see how your mind moves. You see how you can be sitting, and then before you know it, you'll be thinking about like a Sri Lankan elephant pulling an ice cream truck full of corn down the road, and a bunch of people are cheering, and a kite flies by, and you're thinking about like a lush field. Oh, there's an ocean too, and there's surfers. Your mind just does some crazy stuff. So if you can do that when you're sitting, you're going to think about, oh, what happened at work? Oh, my relationship. Oh, what about that book I was reading? Oh, what about that show? I got to finish that. Oh, can you believe that my girlfriend watched that without me? It's going to keep going. But these thoughts just arise, and we see it, and we feel it. And by putting attention onto these thoughts, they just keep going. They keep moving because we're feeding it. The thought is being fed by more thoughts. And this is a movement that you kind of have to see. You have to see how a thought arises, and by putting attention onto it, or rather just getting lost in it, it just spins perpetually. So it's not you that thought of the thing and are continuing the thought. It's the thought arising, attention, awareness going on it, and never really pulling back from it. So it seems like this huge concurrent story where you think about this and you think about the next move and this feeling over here and all this, but it's just little individual dependent conditions that arise from the conditions. And you'll see these movements all the time. So thoughts are very sticky. The best advice I can give is meditation in general. So when you're meditating, and many of you might meditate, an easy object is your breath. So at the tip of your nose, you notice the cool air on the inhale. a slight pause into the exhale, warm air, then a slight pause. So it's cool air, pause, warm air, pause. Just keep attention right at the tip of your nose. And the more you do that, the more you're going to see these movements. Now, at first, you're going to meditate and you're going to be like, wow, I cannot keep my mind still. And you might think, I just have a super moving mind. It just moves so much. I think a lot. And then you're going to get to the point where you're like, wait a minute. I'm going to get this. I'm just going to spend a minute or two, no thoughts whatsoever. And then you realize, I can't do it. I want to stop the thoughts, but I can't. Why is this? And it's going to be this like burning feeling of, why can I not control my thoughts? What is this? Why am I thinking? Where do these thoughts come from? Where do they go? And it's going to overwhelm yourself in terms of, why is this happening? Because before you just thought, I'm thinking, but now you're actually seeing you can't control your mind. Now, a big misconception of meditation is that we think we have to control our mind. We don't have to control thoughts. We don't have to control anything arising, and that's really the beauty of it. These things are going to arise and cease constantly, and you don't have to do anything to feel any of them or to be aware of them. Everything spontaneously arises and ceases without you having to do anything at all. That doesn't mean choices aren't going to be made. It doesn't mean actions aren't going to be done. It means that all these things are spontaneously existing perfectly unto themselves, dependent on all the other conditions in this huge, I don't even know how to explain it. I don't know. It's the mind. It's fundamentally the mind. So when you see this movement, you're going to want to just not try to control it. That's the biggest thing. Don't control what thoughts come in. You can just sit here and be absolutely still in the turbulence of the thoughts. And that's really where the calm and peace comes from in meditation. It's not saying, I'm going to sit here and brute force this, no thoughts whatsoever. No, you are able to sit here with thoughts arising and be okay with it. You're able to see the movement and be still within the movement. There's movement, but there's stillness. Be aware of the awareness of all the things. Now, I'm not going to get to non-duality and all these other concepts, but when things are arising, there's a knowing. But who's the knower? This is going to get more in depth about what's the knower, who is you. It's going to be, if an experience is arising, if there's a feeling, if there's emotion, who is experiencing it? If anger arises and there's a knowing of anger, and when anger ceases and the knowing that anger ceased, what is that? Are you the anger? Are you identifying with the anger that you're experiencing? If it arises and it's gone, are you the anger? So this is where, when you talk about a myriad of things in Zen, listen, I'm not a Zen master. I'm not a scholar in Zen. I just can only go off experience. But when everything arises and ceases, the experience is experiencing the experience itself. And this isn't to give you concepts. I don't want to intellectually think about this. Realization will never happen through intellectual thinking. But all these things arise, and that's why it's the study of the self is to forget the self. Because you'll see this movement, you'll see all these things spontaneously arising and ceasing. And I can't keep saying that enough. Please just look around. Everything is arising and ceasing. This was supposed to be a little bit more condensed and like maybe understandable. And I don't know if it is. This is really just me passionately talking about it. That's kind of how it works, I think. The Dharma. It just comes out. Anyway, if you have any questions, comment. If you have any, experiences, comment. This is like a new thing. I just feel like there's a lot of information and knowledge or, wisdom, that I've just experienced over the years of meditating that I think can help. It can help people. If it does, I hope so. I'm going to watch this and make sure this isn't a complete mess. Okay, so that's that. I'll see you in the next No BS Zen Reflection Part 2, whenever that's coming out.